in an embraced manner. I don't know whether you have that video.
We do.
Now, apparently he was telling him something, and he seemed so calm, listening, even though he was rubbing his eye as if he took some kind of alcohol, the way he was rubbing his eyes and all that. Then he finally contrived a smile. Then he left and went straight to that door again and started saying that he would die. He was ready to die for this cause. He was ready to, and there were gentlemen in black who apparently were not honorable or dishonorable, whatever, members. You understand? And they were speaking in certain language. At a point when he saw that the pressure was on too much, he asked them to leave. He now was about to
perhaps we should call for those visuals.
It's very important because why I'm saying this thing is before I was intrigued more, I was more interested in the hitting that took place. As bad as that was, we must not lose sight of what led to all those things. Before we talk about the legalism, that for else if you are defending yourself, to what extent can you go and all that. These are the issues about law.
Yeah, but should we be interested in the fact that, the IGP has ordered an investigation, the Senate committee is also looking into the matter, so should we be optimistic that somehow
I'm not too keen about investigations in Nigeria because investigations sometimes are contrived to solve a problem whose outcome is already predetermined.
So that's like working from the
It may be possible that they are genuine now, but if I weigh the direction of thought of the IG, I think it was more interested. He was more interested in the policeman that was involved in the beating. Some people were also angling that the CP was doing certain things that were unethical. You understand? All these things need to be investigated. I am not here to take position or take sides because I'm not interested in any of them. I'm interested in people properly putting things in perspective. The IG should also look at the activities of the CP. If the CP has been doing his job professionally, he should be commended. Because no CP should take instructions from a governor willy-nilly, just because he had either been compromised, and no CP should want to confront a governor just to show that he cannot be bought. It is not necessary. We are running the same system. And like I said, even the governor of Rivers State and the coterie of people who are nudging him, because there are a lot of people who are taking advantage of what is going on now, he should also have his own cerebral content in the entire context. You know the reason? Those people who are feeding from crisis will not let it go. But there is somebody who is central to that crisis who remains the target. If there is any reason to demolish, he will be the one to go down.
Okay, now, if you look at this, and this happens to be those who claim that they sat and they impeached the speaker. Okay. And if we could listen to it a little bit, where, of course, from what you see, maybe if you also will hear, it did appear as though they were doing this in a hurry.
Absolute haste and terribly uncoordinated. In fact, I felt that even if it was a script that was given to them to act, don't you have your own content? If you are as an actor, you are given a script that will portray you in battle. You find a way to...
Let's listen a bit to what he even said.
Distinguished members at the gallery, I thank you for electing me this day as the new Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly. That I am calling on the EFCC to come and audit the Rivers State House of Assembly account. And accordingly, 15 members has been suspended. The names will be given to you later. I thank my honorable colleagues and promise to work effectively with you, and that new hope in Rivers State will be restored. Leader of the House, as the #1 guinea pig, has been suspended. So I want you to join me to move Rivers State forward. The old ESCO has been pitched. New government has been restored, and this new government will effectively work with all the members and give new hope to Rivers people. Thank you very much.
Well, haven't heard and
Did
seen
you see that?
So
how does he come across? This is the guy who wants to be speaker.
Yeah, but
in a state, you have people like OCJ Okocha, Ledu Mite, and other highly cerebral individuals. It is very disgraceful.
Okay, now, I mean, it's
no
clear.
No matter who wanted to use them.
It's clear from the points of law and their requirements that if there are 5, because they keep saying it were not 5, if there were 5, if there were 6, if there were 7, if they don't form a quorum, they can't sit. If they don't form the required number to impeach, it won't happen. So, should those who were in the majority, if all of this happened, what would the case have been if they just ignored all that those guys have done and go back and continue their sitting and says, well, as far as we're concerned, we have a quorum, we have a majority here, we don't even recognize what has happened? Would that have been out of place?
Certainly that should have been the best approach. But they know themselves. Because if you have been involved in killing, you will not allow somebody to use machete to cross your back door. A madman will always say, if you come near and I look for my head, you'll be in trouble. Even though his head would have gone before he finally knew that he is dead. So, as politicians in Nigeria, we know that anything can happen. It is not about decency. It is not about civility. And if you now add to that incivility the fact that there is lack of exposure on part of some of the operators who sneaked in, especially from 1999, the thing had never been so bad that when you have somebody who sows ill wind, remaining alive, the only thing he can harvest is whirlwind. It is a law. You understand? So many of them have done so many bad things. It's just a question of who is at the receiving end. But this is just like an animal farm. In an ecosystem, you have predators and you have the prey. You, as the goat, you might go and chew the greenery of somebody's farm. And then when the lion comes, he pounces on you and finishes. So it's a question of, and then maybe the hunter would bring down the lion
as well.
But
yes, so that is what is happening in Nigerian politics.
Okay.
They apparently must have foreseen the possibility that once this fire has been set on, okay, they will make the 5 people may make so much noise. Perhaps they believe that some powers are behind them, such that all they needed was just to start a fight. You know, the best way to deal with a king is let somebody pour sand at him. Once one person pours sand at him in that melee, he will have a broken head, the stool will be burnt, the car, you understand what I just one single. So apparently they foresaw that prospect. And so even though their own reaction itself was also petulant in my own assessment.
The reaction of?
The reaction of the 27.
Okay. And
then maybe Chibika Mechi coming to the scene for whatever reason and all that and all that. But it seemed apparent that if he didn't have confidence in the police on the other side, he probably may have had confidence in his own security details, which also comprised of members of the police force. But they are members of the kitchen
but seeing them
security.
Participating in
that is usually in Nigeria. When you have a police orderly or ADC, he is an appendage of your domestic staff. You understand? You are the source of income. Even though he may have salary, but the one he earns there is like pension and gratuity, paid in advance. So he's ready to do your bidding. Some of them will even go to the market and carry basket for madam. And anybody who stands in the way of madam without knowing will be mowed down. That is what is happening. It's just a question of who is taking in the pressure this time around.
This is a bigger challenge.
It is a complete mess we are in. This is a public knowledge in the streets. If you even, just a matter of give some policemen, if you give them 5,000 naira to help you in a party environment, you are finished. If you make any noise there, you are gone. Without even instruction from the man who hired him. That is the overzealousness of Nigerian people, not only in uniform, but in even simply being a member of a political party. You don't even have anything to do with the man at the helm. just because they have given you opportunity to run around that